Lynette Lewis, author of Climbing the Ladder in Stilettos. Welcome to North Carolina now.
Thank you. It's great to be with you today.
So let me make sure that I get this straight. The full title is Climbing the Ladder in Stilettos, 10 Strategies for Stepping Up to Success and Satisfaction at Work. So what led you to write this book?
Well, honestly, I felt like writing a book for some time. I do a lot of speaking and would get a lot of feedback from the audience. Boy, you should put some of these concepts into a book. So when I got ready to write, I thought, what is the book that I wish someone would have given to me when I was starting my career 22 years ago? And that's exactly what I did, is put sort of the 10 strategies, the 10 challenges that women face, I observe most often in the workplace, and what are some really practical strategies to address those challenges.
And what have you seen as some of the challenges that faces women as they try to reach that corporate ladder or go up the ladder?
Well, it's certainly different for every woman, and obviously age plays into it. Younger women, for instance, when they get out of college, oftentimes are full of vision, full of passion, really energetic about their careers. And you give about 5, 6, or 7 years to most of those women, and oftentimes they're a little bit disappointed. Wow, I'm not quite where I thought I might be, or I haven't found the mentors I need, or I wish I was more recognized or better paid. So oftentimes women in sort of the late 20s and middle 30s will go through a lot of those challenges. Then you'll deal with women that get to their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, and sometimes they'll reflect back and think, have I really done the things that I wanted to in my career? Or maybe I thought I would be more advanced professionally, or maybe I would have had more opportunities. So it varies a little bit with age, but I think there are some consistent challenges that women do face.
Through your career, has there been any particular challenge that really comes to mind?
Well, definitely in that category of feeling underutilized, unrecognized, and underpaid. And even though I've had some wonderful career positions and been, as I reflect now, have been given so many great opportunities, experiences that I would not trade for anything. At the time, oftentimes, I felt like I was going nowhere fast, that I didn't have a boss who was mentoring me, for instance, or I'd wait years to get a good solid raise or a real significant increase in position. And those seasons of insignificance, I find, are very common to women. And so I talk in the book about some real practical things we can do to encourage ourselves and encourage one another.
You touched on this earlier, saying that there is a shortage of women mentors, and that women should adopt the concept of empowered mentoring. What did you mean by that?
Well, to me, empowered mentoring looks at mentoring with a little bit of a different definition. So often we think of mentoring in the context of an older person, more advanced, more skilled, more experienced, approaches me, the mentee, and spends lots of time looking in my eyes and asking me, how's it going? What can I do for you? Here's some great sage wisdom or advice. In my experience of mentoring, that just doesn't happen very often. I mean, I wanted those people to come in my life, and I was looking for years to find someone who would do that. Began to realize that if I took more of a self-motivated sense of mentoring and said, I'm going to put myself in the driver's seat and look around my circles and say, who do I need? Who am I attracted to? Who might I gain moments of mentoring from, even if I wouldn't get the hours or the depth of mentoring that I really was looking for?
So how do you go about inspiring women in your book?
Well, what I try to do first in each chapter is identify the challenge that women face and really validate what a lot of us go through. I think oftentimes, even though there are lots and lots of women in the workforce now, there are times where we feel isolated or not necessarily connected to one another. And so I first try to really validate, if you're experiencing these 10 things in particular, you're not alone, and a lot of us feel the same way. So that's number one. And then the second half of each chapter is really about some of the practical lessons that I've learned, and also a lot of the women that I've worked with have learned. I interviewed 19 executive women from all over the country for the book, women in very renowned positions, working at a lot of the famous companies that we would know of, in various positions in those companies, talking about their experiences, how they face similar challenges, and some of their practical wisdom and advice. So the real hope and spirit is to give women a sense of a couple new tools that they can actually use on Monday morning to make a difference in their work.
Now, your book talks about 10 steps for stepping up to success. Now, we're not going to name the 10 steps because you want them, read it in the book. But how do you go about outlining those steps?
Well, as I said, I start with a challenge that each of us have faced. So for instance, one is finding the mentors I need. Another one is, how do I communicate effectively? A lot of women will talk about the desire to be forthright, to be out there building our own brand, for instance, building our own reputation, but not wanting to do it in a way that makes me feel like I'm the men that I work with. I want to do it in a way that retains my femininity and helps me feel like I'm true to who I am, but I'm not missing opportunities simply because I'm afraid to get the word out about what I've done. So that's one of the strategies, is how do I build my reputation? And I give very practical ways to do that.
Overall, what do you hope women, or men for that fact, take away from your book? What can men learn from reading your book?
Well, the feedback that we've been getting, and the book's been out about a month now, the feedback we've been getting from both men and women, and interestingly, people of all ages. I've heard from young women just starting in their career, about 19 or 20 years old. I heard this week from a woman who's 72 and is very active in her community, and she loved the book as well. And what we're hearing, the kind of feedback we're hearing, is that I felt so inspired, that I really am in the driver's seat of my career, and that I really can make a few proactive changes and get even more out of the career I've been given. I don't have to change jobs. I don't have to change every person around me professionally, but I can take the things that I have right now, whether it's my dream job or the one that I'm really still looking for, and really make a difference starting today, enjoying my work, finding that satisfaction to a new, deeper level than ever before.
Lynette Lewis, author of Climbing the Ladder in Stilettos, 10 Strategies for Stepping Up to Success and Satisfaction at Work. Thank you so very much for joining us, and much success to you.
Thanks so much.